A 4-1 result over the Panthers of Gabon does not tell the full story. But after a grueling 120 minutes of football, the Super Eagles of Nigeria are still alive in their race to make it to the 2026 FIFA World Cup group stage. Welcome to today's video, guys. As promised, I am back with a review of the match against the Panthers of Gabon in the playoffs, in the African playoffs for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And glad to be back on a happy note as Nigeria got past Gabon 4-1 in extra time. But before we get to the game, of course, we have to start. There's only one place to start, and that's the fact that before this game might have not even taken place. Before this game, the players decided to boycott training on the Tuesday before the game. 2 days before the game, they decided to boycott training, and this was a very important moment as somebody who has followed Nigerian football for well over a decade and a half even. This was not a new thing to me. First of all, this is a recurrent issue. The NFF always been inept, always been corrupt, always handling things in a lackluster manner. And I really want to say this for everyone watching and for every Nigerian football fan, that in any issue that involves the NFF and any of our national teams, please do not be the fool. Do not be the unfortunate fool that will take sides with the NFF. Those guys are the worst people you would ever take sides with in any issue involved in Nigerian football. I say this again to all Nigerian football fans. Do not be the person who will take sides with the NFF in an issue involving our national teams. This is an administration that has a reputation of owing all our national teams, from the Super Eagles, Super Falcons, Falconets, Flamingos, and every other national team that you remember, that you know, owing them match bonuses and allowances running into years. They make promises, they fail, they make promises, they fail. Sometimes the players even let go of these things. And so when the Super Eagles do something like what they did a few days ago, boycotting training, and I see some people talking about, oh, that was the wrong time to do it, they should not have done it, they should think about the country. You are saying absolute rubbish. There will never be a good time to do something like that. There will never be a good or a bad time. There will just be a time where you think you can do it. And if there's one thing I know about the NFF, is that you can only hold them to, you can only make them scared, sort of, when there is something at stake, like there was a few days ago. And so I do not want any Nigerian football fans to ever take sides with the NFF, because that would be the worst thing you would ever do for Nigerian football as a supporter. I just want to make that clear. And then we had certain people in the Nigerian media. We had people like Austin Eguavoen. We had people like even Victor Ekpeba saying, oh, Austin Eguavoen and Victor Ekpeba, by the way, who both work for the NFF. That's something you guys should take note of, very important. Saying things like, oh, it was the wrong time and this and that. And I'm like, this is very funny, because these are former footballers. These are former footballers who, you can trace NFF owing salaries and allowances of players back to 30 years ago, when Victor Ekpeba and Austin Eguavoen were still playing for the Super Eagles. And they experienced it, they saw this firsthand. And now, just because they are working for the NFF, they want to suddenly change stances, as if they didn't suffer the same fate, as if they were not once players. This is something that I found really annoying, because you can't. I do not know this idea that, oh, Nigeria qualifying for a World Cup, or maybe let's say even an AFCON, or playing an AFCON, regardless of the fact that the players are being owed, that appearance at the AFCON or at the World Cup, or potential qualification is bigger than whatever issue they have with the NFF. Like they should sort of forgo it, or because they are rich. And another thing I want to say is that the more reason why the Super Eagles should have gotten 100% support on this is that this is the team that has the balls to do something like this. The Super Eagles are the biggest, probably the biggest national football team brand in Africa, right? In African sport, this is the team that has the balls to do this. If the Super Eagles, with how influential they are, some of them have millions of followers and they are so big, they are role models, a lot of them. If those kind of players can be owed allowances and match bonuses running in 2 years, what do you not think goes on with the Super Falcons, for example, who I have spoken about a lot in this my type of videos and other type of videos? Now let's even leave the national team. Let's go to the youth teams. What do you think is going on with the youth teams who are basically just starting out their career and have no leverage? Even in the Super Eagles, players still get scapegoated for speaking out. I know players that have sort of been exiled from the national team for speaking out. In 2002, Sunday Olise set, a lot of them spoke out before the World Cup, and then they basically got replaced, and the coach took almost an entire new squad to the World Cup, right? Players that didn't even deserve to go. We had now the young teams that are just starting, who can't demand anything really from an organization as corrupt as the NFF. I saw a video now saying that those guys were made to organize their own medical tests when they wanted to go for a WAFU or AFCON or 8th grade competition or something. And then after the whole thing, they got paid just 100k. People that are coming from places all over the country. If you know Nigeria, you know how difficult it is to travel by road, how unsafe it is. There's barely any of those players except they are coming from rich homes who can travel by air. So if any player in the 8th grade got invited and the player lives in Abuja, for example, that player have to travel to wherever they are camping by, let's say Kaduna, or lives in Jos, will have to travel to wherever the base is. I assume is Abuja by road. And you know how unsafe it is, and they got 100,000 after everything. Now that money was transferred not even from the NFF account, but from a person's account. So why is the personal? These are the questions you ask. But I don't want to go too far into that. I just needed to address that issue. Nigerian football fans should never ever take the sides of the NFF, because this is something that you think you're not concerned about. Maybe it's until when one of your family members are playing for Nigeria that you would feel that's sometimes that's the thing about Nigerians. They don't want to be empathetic unless it concerns them. So anyways, if I continue ranting about this, I'll be really angry. So let me just put that aside and go to a more lighter situation. Of course, the overall team play versus Gabon, I thought we played well. I thought, like I said in my last video, I promised you guys that you see a Super Eagles that knows that they are messed up and are willing to fix their mistakes and are willing to do the best to qualify. And I thought I saw that in the first half. We started the game with a lot of intent. Our finishing was very questionable, but we started the game quite well. We created chances, and I think that the situation of these playoffs helped us a bit, in the sense that this was a one-off, a do or die game. It was not a group game. It was not a game for 3 points. It was not a game we are playing in Uyo against Gabon, where Gabon would have felt more like the inferior side, even though they have the likes of Aubameyang and Mario Lemina and a couple of others, and Denis Boanga. But I felt like if Gabon was in our group, for example, in Group C, in the first round, and they had come to you, let's say it was a home game, I felt like Gabon would have played a low block and defended, and it would have been hard. But I thought it was quite easy for us to create chances. There were a couple of times we caught Gabon out on like a 2-on-2 situation, attacking their half, or like a 3-on-3, where just one final pass would have created a scoring chance, right? So I thought we had those couple of chances quite easily, in a way that I had not really seen us have in these whole qualifiers before, or regularly in a particular match. So I thought we had those occasions, and that was also credit to us, to be fair. So yeah, because we had to make things happen too, regardless. So I thought we in the first half we did quite well. Aubameyang didn't really threaten the defense. The defense was very solid. In fact, that entire first half was all us, really. We just failed to convert our chances. We kept Gabon quiet in the first half. The likes of Mario Lemina and Aubameyang, and really it was good. We were moving the ball quickly. Maybe that's also due to the fact that that's a much better surface in Morocco, by the way. And those players a lot of them are used to playing on very good pitches. but our finishing was questionable. And then in the second half, Gabon started the second half quite well. I mean, like the first 10 minutes, there was like a spell of Gabon controlling the game. And yeah, it was concerning for me watching it. But yeah, it didn't lead to anything. And then maybe from like 65 minutes, we started to get back in the game. And then we just basically got gifted a goal around like the 80th minute. And yeah, it was a goal that came out of nowhere. So there's not really anything to say about that. And then we should have seen out the game. That was another thing that I had an issue with. Another problem that we faced in these qualifiers, not being able to see out a game. The same thing that happened against Zimbabwe. We should have been able to see out that game. But unfortunately, it was a goal that probably could not have been avoided at the exact time of the shot where Mario Lemina played. It was a deflected shot, and Stanley Wabale, I don't think, would have done much, even though it was his near post. But before that goal, somebody should have covered up that space where Lemina had, and that was, I think, what led to the chance for him to score. And then we conceded, so that was like a questionable part of the game. But overall, I think we played well in 90 minutes, and we just didn't take our chance. This could have easily been a 4-0 result in 90 minutes. It did not even have to be 4 goals in extra time. And then of course Victor Osimhen missed that. Anyways, I'll talk about that in my next prompt. He missed that chance, dying minutes in the 90 minutes that could have killed it off. And so we went to extra time, and in extra time, it was just all Nigeria really. We knew that we had to put this game to bed. And now, because of the very little time to recover between that game, just 3 days between that game and the next game against Congo, against Democratic Republic of Congo, who by the way beat Cameroon in the other semi-final with a late goal. We knew that we needed to kill that game as soon as possible, so we have time to rest if we win. So we really started that second half with some intent, and as soon as Chidera HK scored the second goal, we were more in control. And then Victor Osimhen scored the third goal and made up for his error. We just took the game away from Gabon. Stanley Wabale almost sold the game a couple of times. That guy, let's just leave him for now. And then the fourth goal was a nail in the coffin by Victor Osimhen again, the best goal of the game for me. And yeah, that was it really. So overall team play, I thought we played really well. And the defense was very solid, and the only goal we conceded was the time I could say, okay, the defense was a bit questionable, but not at the exact time of the goal, just in the build up to the goal, because I think we could have covered up that space more, so Lemina will not have the chance to shoot. But yeah, I thought we played overall. I would say we played at least we had an 8/10 performance. The midfield did one thing right. They knew how to lay the passes quickly. Our game was very direct. Even though sometimes I thought we should try other things, but it was clear that we were always trying to find Victor Osimhen, which is a good thing, by the way. It's not a bad thing. You have a striker with quality, you should always try to find him. So yeah, played well. And yeah, that was just it. Best and worst performance, by the way, as my next prompt. So in the best and worst performance, I'll start with the best. And I know when strikers have good performances, they take all the credit, but this is something that everybody should be able to agree with me on, that Benjamin Frederick is the truth. Benjamin Frederick was our best player against Gabon. Benjamin Frederick was solid in defense. There was a situation where he had a run into the box with Aubameyang in our defensive area, and the way he just took care of that situation was fantastic. His ball playing, his ability to come out of dangerous situations deep in our own half, it was just brilliant. And he even assisted Victor Osimhen's goal in extra time. Took the ball deep into Gabon's half. It was just brilliant. It was everywhere. This guy, and he's still 20 years old, everything goes well for him. He's going to be in the Super Eagles setup for at least the next 10 years, and it's going to be really solid for us. We have a gem on our hands. This guy is going straight to the top. He's still a Brentford player currently on loan, but the way I see that guy in the next few years, he's going to make the FIFA best 11. Honestly, that's where I see him in the next couple of years. He's that good. I'm telling you, it's no fluke. It's the truth. He has played since he made his debut with the Super Eagles. He has not been substituted. He has played 90 minutes. He has played about six games, and he has played all 6 games entirely. So he's that good. Benjamin Frederick, take your flowers. You are spectacular against Gabon. And yeah, if I was to rate him, I would give him 10/10. I know all these match rating websites and all of that. They don't usually give 10/10. Maybe especially for a defender, it's not very common to see. But me, what I watched was a 10/10 performance from Benjamin Frederick. He took us out of a couple of dangerous or potentially dangerous situations at our defense, and then even still made an assist for the goal. So for a goal that Victor Osimhen scored. So yeah, it was brilliant. And yeah, for me, that's Benjamin Frederick. And Victor Osimhen is a close second. I think Victor Osimhen would have edged it if he won us the game in 90 minutes. Yeah, but at the same time, you look at it and it's like, well, sometimes football is funny because he himself did say after the game that sometimes it happens like that as strikers. The goals, the chances that people expect you to score, you might miss it, and then the ones that people expect you to not convert is the one you score. Because to be fair, his 2 goals in extra time were more difficult. The first goal was tight angle, the second goal just basically out of nothing. He was backing the goal, a long ball, he controlled, put it on his knee, took the ball into the box, and just played across. Those were more difficult finishes than the one he had on the dying seconds of 90 minutes, where he had like a good 20 yards to run into the opponent's half unmarked and just probably even round the goalkeeper. But for some reason, he wanted to put the ball in the tighter angle, But yeah, I think Benjamin Frederick just edges out Victor Osimhen in this one. So Benjamin Frederick, for me, the best performance in the game against Gabon. And if you ask me who the worst performance is, I have to think, because I have to visualize the whole squad in my mind right now. And I don't know if there's a standout, but I think there are some contenders. I think Zaidou Sanusi was not at his best. I think that Bright Osai Samuel, questionable in the way they handled Bright Osai Samuel and Chidera Ejuke. Aside from the goal, questionable in the way they defended the wing before Mario Lemina had that chance to score. I think our midfield did decent. They were decent. I won't say they were spectacular, but they did the basics. Chukwueze probably didn't show up as much as we expected, especially after the performance against Benin, where he assisted 2 of Victor Osimhen's goals. Stanley Wabali also with his theatrics again, and that guy is getting me tired. He just almost got Gabon back into the game while we were 3-1 up with needless seconds on the ball, taking his eyes off the ball. Aubameyang almost tackled him into the net, and at some point it looked like he got injured and signaled to the bench, and then he said, "Oh no, he will continue," and all of that. So it just feels like he wants to be the center of attention sometimes. I don't know. That guy is just, I don't know. I'm not even sure. Anyways, in my last video, I did say that's part of why I'm happy that Maduka Okoye is back, because I think Maduka Okoye is a good enough competition for Stanley Wabali, and I feel like eventually Maduka Okoye will be Super Eagles #1. It's just a matter of time. I think Stanley Wabali is at his peak, right? I don't think he can get better than he currently is. Like, he has good size to his game, penalty saver, yes, he has good size to his game. But overall, I think Maduka Okoye is still on the up. I think Maduka Okoye will still get better. So yeah, I think for worst performance, I would say between Stanley Wabali for me and Zaidou Sanusi. Yeah, I think, and probably also Bright Osai Samuel. There's also a chance that he had he got a pass from Victor Osimhen, was not able to finish, but I mean, he's a defender, so maybe that one is understandable. Yeah, so away from that, the last prompt here is to preview the match against the Democratic Republic of Congo. And that Congo team, I'm telling you guys, they are really good. You know, they have some good players. They have Chancellor Mbemba. They have what's his name now? I've forgotten the striker. I forgot his name. I hope I remember soon enough. But I think I one thing that I took note of watching the game was when in the pre-match, and I think after the first half in the studio, a presenter was asking Victor Ikpepa and the people in the studio and Brown there, former Super Eagles player, and another sports analyst in the studio, who they would rather us face in the final, and everybody said Cameroon. You know, nobody wanted to play Congo. I think I sort of agree with them because you know Cameroon. Yeah, Cameroon, they have Brian Bemo, they have some good players. They have Andre Onana, they have some really good players. But I think that Cameroon are probably better to face right now. I think Congo are much more motivated. Congo have also not qualified for the World Cup since 1974. They're like a sleeping giant of African football, so they really want this so bad. I think they're also kind of on the up. You know, the last AFCON they got to the semi-final where they lost to eventual winners Cote d'Ivoire. So I think Congo are much more motivated for this. They really want this so bad for their people, for themselves. You know, at least four or five consecutive generation of Congolese players have not gone to the World Cup. So they really want this so bad, and you know, Nigeria should watch out. Nigeria should watch out. You know, and if you ask me what to expect from the Super Eagles that game against Congo this time, I think that, you know, luckily for us, I was quite concerned that we took our match to extra time. But the sort of good things that we played before Cameroon and Congo, so it was a bit of a good thing. I was hoping the Cameroon and Congo match would go to extra time, you know, and almost did, because Congo only scored very late against Cameroon. I was just hoping so that at least they also get some tired legs, whoever wins, you know. But their matching go to extra time. But eventually, I don't think it's really impact that much, because you know we'll have enough time to rest Friday, Saturday, do some light training on Friday, possibly then Saturday serious training. And yeah, if you ask me what to expect from Super Eagles against Congo, this is what I'm going to tell you. The Super Eagles are going to find it really difficult. They are going to see a Super Eagles team that will find Congo very hard to crack. This will not be like the game against Gabon. We will not find that many chances. Congo are more organized. The defense is more organized, you know. And Congo are very motivated. They have not been at the World Cup since 1974. You know, a lot of generation of Congolese players have missed out on the World Cup. So the Super Eagles need to watch it. They need to be very, very clinical in this game. You know, they need to be clinical. One chance, one goal. That's what they need to do. So you're going to see a Super Eagles team against the Democratic Republic of Congo. You know, you're going to see a Super Eagles team that would probably struggle, especially in the opening moment of the game, trying to figure out how the Congolese are going to play against them. So it's possible that, you know, like the Gabon game, we might not score until the second half. That's how I'm seeing this one play out. But I think that this will be a really tight game. This might be a game where just one goal will edge it. So I'm saying Nigeria to win by a very slender goal. This will not be a comfortable win like I predicted against Gabon. So I predict Nigeria to win by a slender goal advantage. Let's maybe 1-0. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and thanks to all my subscribers and everyone who has been sharing my videos and commenting. And if you have anything to say about this video, if you have some comments to make, or what you think the Super Eagles are going to do against Congo, let me know in the comments. So as you know, please share this video to all football fans and all sports fans and everybody. And yes, in a couple of days, of course, I will come back with another video, hopefully on a happy note, to tell you guys that we are going to the Intercontinental Playoffs for the World Cup. And if not, well, I will still come back with a video, because I have to do it regardless. So, but yeah, let's see if the Super Eagles can overcome the problem of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And until I record my next video, guys, it's bye for now. Ciao.